video, we're going to be taking a look at making a leather-wrapped whiskey flask. Should be a fun project. First time I'm doing it, we'll see how it goes. Okay. We're going to be using this gray chrome tanned leather. So it has not quite sure the thickness, I want to say maybe 4 or 5 ounces, but it's very flexible. It's actually upholstery leather. So the good thing about this leather is because it's chrome tanned, it will not lose the dye. It should be just about perfect for what we're doing here. And as you can see, my leftover scrap, more than big enough to do the whiskey flask. So first step is going to be to measure our flask. And I need to jot down our measurements. Okay, so the first step is to jot down our measurements. So, starting from the center, working our way around, we've got, looks like, $8 1/4 and a little bit more. So what's that? A 16th. So 8 3/16. Okay. So I'm just going to jot that down. So 8 3/16. For the height, we can either do the whole height of the whiskey flask, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to trim it just a little bit lower. So 3 1/2 will leave us with just a tiny little bit of room for us to have so actually, you know what? Let's do 3 1/4. Because 3 1/4 will give us enough room to have some of the whiskey flask around the edges. So 3 1/4. Okay. Cool. So, get that out of the way. Put this off to the side. And we need to mark out our measurements on the leather here. Grab our marking pen and use our square. So it needs to be 8 3/16 by 3 1/4. So, got my height. Here we are. So this is pretty straight on. So there's 8 1/2. There's 8 1/4. I want to go just a little bit past. Okay. And then we want it to go 3 1/4. should just about line up for us. And then let's check this way, make sure that measures out as well. So that should be 8, yeah. And then since it's 3 1/2 on this end, I want it to be 3 1/4. So we're going to need to straighten it up. There. Okay. That doesn't look too bad. So what we're going to do is we need to get a fresh blade. Not my bucket of sharps. Here we are. Here's my bucket for old sharps. Start this off with a fresh, clean blade. One day eventually I'll take that in for scrap metal. And let's get a fresh new blade on here. There we go. Okay, so we're going to trim this up here, right along our line that we drew. And a couple more cuts, straighten this out, clean up our edge, and we just triple check and make sure that my measurement is still right. So I need it to be, oh, you know what, let's close this blade up before I stab myself. There we go. 8 3/16, 3 1/4. So this line is going to be well, you know what, let's just do this. So it's going to go on like that, around, and oh, what do you know? What do you know? We cut this a little short. Okay, so I made a mistake. I forgot to account for the thickness of the leather. Alright, so that looks like it's got about maybe ½ inch difference. So let's do 8 3/4. save this and use it for something else later down the road. Alright, let's try this again. You know what? Let's cut it a little wide. Let's go 3 1/4 tall and then go 9. And that should give us plenty to play with. Okay. So I need 3 1/4 by 9. So let's do there's 3 1/4. There's my 9. Okay. And make sure this is still 3 1/4 up here. Yep, that's 9 there. Okay, perfect. And this one is going to be a little simpler to cut at least. Set that aside, and let's go down here. Let's do one wall there, and one cut there. Okay. And there we go. That is looking not terrible. Not terrible at all. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to trim a little bit off here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my marker and I'm going to mark right about there. Right about there, and I'm just going to see if I can mark out basically just a run there along the line of where that's sticking up there. Okay, and that is where we're going to do our last cut. That is going to line up perfectly. Yes. That right there is exactly what we are looking for. Okay, so now the next step that we need to do is we need to mark a stitching line and do our punch our stitching holes. So the thing with this leather, I'll show you on a scrap here. With this leather, you can use our edge scriber, I guess you could call it. I forget the name of this thing. Anyway, it looks like a compass. Anyway, you can do that, and that will give us a nice line there. So let's do that. Let's tighten this up. Now, because it's going to be going around the whiskey flask, the top lines are just going to be decorative. It's the one on the spine in the back that we're actually going to be caring about, because that one in the spine what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a cross stitch, and that's what's actually going to hold it on there. So we're going to do a saddle stitch along the top, and it's just going to be purely decoration. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that we make it, because it's such a small thing, I don't want it to be too wide so look out of place. So I'm going to mark it right here, but I'm a little worried about not being, you know what? Yeah, looks like I'm scratching a good clean line in there. So just go along there. Nice, consistent, straight edge all the way around. Okay. Oh, I've gone over a little bit on there. So, there we go. And along this side here. Okay. So, now we are ready to start punching our stitching holes. So I'm just going to put this back in the toolbox, set this up here for a minute. And here is our granite slab. There we go. And here's our punching board. Now let's get our stitching chisels. Okay. And last we need some beeswax. Okay, so, oh, you know what? I need my rawhide mallet. Here we are. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off with our short edges, because the short edges need to have exactly the right number of spaces, because if they don't have the exact number, then that's going to get mixed up. So just dip our chisel in the beeswax to get it help it move in and out quickly, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the first tine of the stitching chisel over the edge, right on the line that I marked out with my groover, and give it a tap all the way through. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing on the side over here. And this way, we'll make sure we have matching holes on both sides. And they'll be in the exact same spot both ways, because these are the ones that must match up in order for this to look nice. Okay. Yep, all the way through. And now I'm at the end, and I could probably go, you know what, I can get one more through here. So I'm going to pick up my, not the 4 tine, pick up my 2 tine chisel. I've got room for one more at the end here. One more here at the end. on both sides. Now what we can do is we can go along the bottom here, on our bottom hole, and work our way across. And now I have a gap where I could put one more hole between here and there, but there's not enough space for it to line up perfectly. So I'm going to use a single tine right in the center of that little gap there. It'll be like a ½ millimeter off, but it'll be close enough to make it work. And we'll do the same thing from down here. And I just have to be careful, make sure I stay on my line that I scratched in earlier. Make sure I can still see it all the way. Okay, and I've got one more. There's my single tine. Here we are. Actually, you know what? Yep, no, I better do one more. One more right in the center of that. Okay. So, put those away. Now, we are ready to start some stitching. Here's another project I was working on. I'm going to cut the thread off in order to take our needles off of it. So, here we are. Here's a pair of scissors. Just slice that off there. Put this aside. And you know what? I'll just put my needles into the beeswax so I don't lose them. Now let's select our thread. So for this one, white thread will look really nice against the gray. No denying that. The white and the gray will pop. However, the white is going to get dark from your hands and whatever. And if you spill your drink when you're pouring it into the flask, then it'll get over the white and it'll stain the white. So I don't think that's going to be a good choice. The black, like a dark black coffee, it'll blend in, you won't even notice it. This turquoise, I think, might not be a bad choice. Oh, I'm starting to get myself untangled here. So this would not keep the same sort of stains the way that the white would. However, it doesn't really pop out too much. It's kind of subtle next to our gray. But I have something here I think might be a little bit better. I think this red is going to look really nice. This red will really pop, and it's not going to lose its vibrancy. So let's mark out. So we're going to go along here. So 1, 2, a little bit for messiness. We'll cut this thread. Okay. And then I've got to clean off the threads off the needles here. Okay, and then we just put thread onto our needle, right through the eye, put it through, and then over and back through again a second time to lock it in. There's one end done, and same thing on the other end. Okay, that's not going through properly, so let's cut this on an angle, get a nice sharp point on it, and go again. There we go. We are ready to start sewing. So, I'm going to find the top one at the far left here, go through. Next one, go through there, pull them through, and now we're just going to do simple, plain saddle stitch. Now these particular needles have a sharp point on them. I think they might be Glover's needles, so I do have to wash my thumb as I put them through. But we'll just go through like this. And one of the things that I've learned about doing saddle stitching is you need to have a consistent pattern. So if you start out wrapping the thread over to the right or to the left, whatever you're going to do, you start it and you stick with it, and then you'll have a consistent look to your stitching the whole way through. So just go through here. Okay, so you get the idea. I'll come back to you in a few minutes when I get this stitching all done up. And we're back. So, I've done stitching line along the top and the bottom, and I back stitched the bottom a little bit, so I'm just going to cut this little bit off the end of the thread here, set those needles off to the side a little bit, and I'm going to melt the threads. Okay, seal that up. There we go. So, here we are, and let's just check this out, see if it's still going to fit around our flask. Okay, so it's going to be so, once we get this on here, pull it a little bit, there we go. It's going to line up just like that. So, next what we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of contact cement on here in order to make sure that it doesn't loosen up on us. So I just need to find a pair of pliers. Which, okay, I apparently don't have a pair of pliers. I'll be right back when I find them. Here we are, back with a pair of pliers to open up this can of contact cement. Damn it. Here we are. This will do the trick. Okay. There. There we go. A little bit of contact cement right there. Spread that around. Okay. Tighten you back up. Set you off to the side. And we're going to take this, spread it out right there in the center. Get it lined up about even. Give it a little spread out some of that glue underneath there. And flip it over. And we have just enough of a gap here that the tension from our sewing is going to hold it all tight. And then that contact cement will make sure it all stays put. Now you know what I'm also going to do? I'm just going to put a little bit of that contact cement on the back side. Stop it from pulling apart. So I'm just going to put a little bit right here, a little bit right there. Okay. And we just hold that there, hold it down there. About even there. Okay. And let's get our, clean up our needles here. Okay. Pull this thread out of there. Toss it aside. Get you this side. Okay, perfect. And let's get a bunch of this. Probably more than we need, but that's alright. Our first needle. And that means that my laundry is done, so I better hurry up. Okay, thread that through the first needle. There. There. Aha. And here. Okay. So a saddle stitch is pretty straightforward. There's millions of YouTube videos on how to do a saddle stitch. I might do one later myself. Now what we're going to do is called a cross stitch. So we go through our first hole, and then we go across and up through this one here on that side. Pull it out so it's even. Okay, and then we over and go through here to make sure I'm not actually punching through the center of the threads. Just beside it. Pull that tight. Pull it up through. Okay. And we pull this tight. We want this to be sit in there like that. And as I'm doing this, I'm noticing a small problem. So as I'm going to pull this up, it's going to want to come up like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen this up. I'm going to put some more contact cement just right in the very center in order to keep that from wanting to pull up on us. So I'm just going to go right here. Here, back there. Okay. And let's pull this tight again. Spread you up there. And I don't want glue to come through the center. Oh well, too late now. Alright, note to self. Next time, be a little cleaner. Okay. Now, we got this center thing there. So now what we gotta do is we gotta make some X patterns. So we go up, one hole, over, underneath of it, and across it at the back into the next hole. There. Now on this side, we go over, through, back, and we have ourselves a nice neat little X. Okay. And we're just going to keep doing that as we go. You know what? This is going to be a problem here. I have an idea. Let's loosen this up a little bit. Let's turn it so that our cross stitching is going to be on the side, because it's going to want to pull up in the center. Let's rotate this. You know what? I'm going to come back after I clean this up. I'll be right back. Alright, so, you know what? This contact cement is working already. We're going to run with it like this. Okay, so, got you tightened up here. And what we'll do, I'm just going to put, I'm going to put, you know what, I have just discovered this stuff is not going to want to work out for me here. So, here, I'm just going to cut the ends off this needle thread for a second. I probably, if I had been planning ahead, I probably you would have noticed a very important detail. The contact cement is not sticking to our stainless steel flask. However, it has just sort of made it almost like a rubberized effect on the back of the leather here. So the contact cement is basically pointless. So here's what we're going to do. Instead of having our seam in the center, we are going to have our seam on the spine. And then, when we pull our threads tight, that will force our, oh shoot, let me put those needles back on. But that will, oh, you know what, that's going to leave, it's going to want to go up like that. So you're going to want, it's going to want, so even if I tighten this up really tight, I'm still going to leave this gap in the center here. Oh, I know what we'll do. I know what we'll do. Wait a minute, where's the contact cement? Let's see, does it say anything about an even generous coat both before joining, let surfaces dry for 15 minutes or longer until glue is not transferred to paper pressed to it. Dry contact cement should have a uniform glossy appearance. Any dull spots indicate a second coat is required. Let's do this. So I'm going to pull this thread back out. Start this over a second and a minute. Okay, set that over there. We're going to be putting our stitch line on our seam, and we are going to put contact cement here and here. Nice, good, great big helping there. And we're going to get a nice, good, great big helping there. And we are going to give that a couple of minutes to tack up and dry a little bit. See, I should know this. I've used this stuff before. Cement to cement. So while that is drying and getting ready, we're going to redo our stitching seam here. Oh, I need to start my alarm. I just put my laundry in. I need to go and make sure to set my alarm. Hey Google, start a 1 hour timer. Okay. And loosen this up. It's there. There. Cool. Now trim this up just a little bit so that I can get it onto my needle. Thread the eye of the needle and go through. Okay. And let's get the eye of this needle through. Yep, through the eye of the needle. Okay. There we go. Alright, so she'll be right. Stick that on there. Hold this up just a little bit. Pull you around. Get you more or less mostly even there. Alright. Now let's start sewing. So we're going to go under. Okay. Pull you back out even. And this time, when it pulls up on our sewing, it will work to our advantage. There. That good and tight. Put that down with the contact cement. See, one of the things that is both a blessing and a curse, that I get impatient. Might be one of those things I should probably have a little more patience for, but oh well. Okay. And then this one's going to go through like that. There we go. And now, we just got to make sure we keep the same pattern. So I'm going to go from top, across, over. Over. And now we got ourselves a nice, neat little X. We'll go top down, find our hole, like that. Okay. And go here. And here. Okay, so we're going to sew all the way up the side, and I'll see you in a minute when I get that done. Alright, so here we are, just about done. We got cross stitch up the spine, and I am now discovering that I did not measure properly and cut a perfectly straight line. So I'll have to deal with that later. I think the next one I do will be a little bit better. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to finish off this stitch by going through here, and then up into this spot here, and there. Okay. Through the last stitch up at the top here. This is part of why I like the idea of doing a saddle stitch along the top edging, because it lets me sort of lock this last couple stitches of the thread back in here. So I'll just go through here. Okay. And I'll put this trim off this extra little bit of thread. And I can melt it with our lighter here. And tap it down. And there we go. Okay, now the only thing that's left is I do have a little bit of a puckering going on here, so I'm going to put a little bit of contact cement there. Damn it. I didn't. Oh, okay. That's not what I planned to do. Alright, so I'm going to put a little bit right there, and a little bit right in here, and I'm just going to take a piece of paper towel and wipe off this extra cement that was at the top here, because I don't want it to be right there, so close to the neck of the bottle. Okay. There we go. Tighten up the lid on the contact cement. And there we go. Tighten that up. And here we are. So it's wrapped all the way around, sewed up nice and tight here along the spine. And we are all good to go. Now the only thing is that contact cement smells like contact cement. So I'm going to have to let this sit out in the sun for a couple of days to let some of that smell work its way out. But otherwise, we are pretty much good to go. So thank you for watching another video here from Hobbies and Stuff in the Shed, filmed on a potato, and I'll see you next time.